You cannot build wealth and power until you have a community. We are the only people in this nation that do not have one single solitary community. You cannot acquire power and wealth without a community, and yet we do not have one single black community in America. That's from New York to San Diego. To have a community, you must have three things in it, Paul. You must have a wholly independent economic structure, just like you got one down in Asia town. Two, you must have a code of conduct on how you're going to treat each other, and how you're going to interact with each other, and how you're going to deal with each other and bargain with each other. And thirdly, you must have some form of governance that will control and regulate the behavior of people in your community and deal with other organizations outside your community. Blacks do not qualify on either one of those terms. We do not have communities. So consequently, without a community, you have no place to store your wealth, your value, your history, your culture, your employment, and your business opportunities.
All eyes is on me. Won't tell no lies. Won't hold my tongue.
What's going on, internet? How y'all feeling out there? Hopefully y'all feeling and looking as good as I am. And if you're not, tomorrow is a better opportunity to be better than you was today. So grab a hold of that. Be optimistic. So real quick, I'm trying to put a lot of information, a lot of universal jewels into something real quick, condense it in. So what I want to touch on right now is a little bit of collaboration over competition. That's going to be the context of this conversation, this dialogue, this little discourse that we're going to have here. It's imperative for the black male in America to embrace confidence over competition. You know, competition has always been a part of human interaction. And it has its benefits, but like anything in life, if you overindulge in it, it can be a detriment to you. You know, the true cliche of too much of anything can hurt you. So one of the universal variables of competition and confidence is that in order for it to be true competition that is beneficial and advantageous, and that can produce things such as discipline and diligence and also camaraderie, is that the playing field, the proverbial playing field, has to be even in order for you to really assess and gain and garner the most that you can from any type of competition that you indulge in. That provides a equitable opportunity for anybody that's participating in the competition to excel and present their best effort, their best abilities, their best qualities, their best skills, to make it a mano a mano to see who's the best. But here's something I want y'all to understand, that even in competition, the loser can gain from that experience as well. Because essentially, it lets you know what areas within yourself and or your team that you may be lacking or may be weak in. And so that gives you the insight of what you may need to work on to become better in the next opportunity to compete. See, a lot of people get it twisted, and this, again, is universal. So I'm not talking about any specific sport. I'm not talking about like football and basketball and hockey and tennis or pickleball or anything like that. I'm not talking about those type of games. I'm talking about the game of life. So this is a metaphor and an analogy that's, again, universal. And one thing that most people get twisted is that they think that when they fail at something or they're weak in specific areas, most people have a mentality and a mindset that means that whatever they're competing in, that they're not good enough, so therefore they need to quit or give their attention to something else. But if you're really passionate and purposeful about whatever you're competing in life, where you're weak at, where you fail at, is how God tells you not to quit and try something else, but that's God giving you the indicator of what you need to work on. So if it's sports, if it's business, if it's education, if it's artistry, whatever area that you're weak in, that's the area you need to focus on more. Hone your skills and then go at it again. But that's not an indicator for you to quit and go somewhere else and do something else. That's what most people get twisted. Now, when we think about this on a broader scale, as it pertains to our quote unquote community, at one point in time, we knew this. So our elders, our grandparents, our great grandparents, they knew that. And at those particular point in times, all we had was us. So what we did in the playing field of life, since it wasn't an even playing field, and if some of us lacked certain skills, certain education, what we knew was to band together. And if she is weak here, someone else will help her with her slack. If he was weak here, another man who had that specific acumen and had mastered it could teach him or pick up the slack. And so what happened simultaneously is the team was fortified and strong, while those who were weak had the opportunity to work on their skills and learn from those who possessed the particular knowledge or the acumen in whatever area that they were weak. So it was a reciprocal process, and that process binded us and made us strong. So it's like a chain. You know, the weak link in the chain always makes the chain vulnerable to be broken. But with this type of mindset that we once had, there were never any weak links, because if it was, there was someone else who was strong and had enough strength to allocate to wherever anyone else was weak at, thus keeping the chain strong, thus keeping our community strong, thus keeping our family strong. And that would not make the playing field even for us, but it would make the chain strong enough that when the torque got put on it, when the weight got put on us, we never broke. It's the epitome of brother's keeper, sister's keeper. I watch your back, you watch mine. A true community. There was more of us than how it is now, where it's more of individualism. Now where we see weakness in others within our community, we utilize that as an opportunity to pile on, to critique without any tangible information to help someone elevate. Now we critique and criticize to destroy or belittle. And so I'm illustrating this because it's about a mindset. It's about a mindset. And so this type of mindset is why, or a integral part and reason as to why we are so divided now, as opposed to unified. And as we continue to move forward, this is why society itself and this system that we're a part of takes advantage of us, because we are the only group that doesn't understand or doesn't implement the things that I'm speaking about now. Individuals get conquered. A team has a true opportunity to compete and thrive and win. So I'll condense that and leave that there, right? But I'm going to quickly speak about this on a broader scale. One of the things that I've always taken issue with those who are critical of us, and when I say us, I'm talking about Black Americans, they criticize us and castigate us and belittle us as if the playing field, the proverbial playing field, has always been even and equitable for us. And clearly that's not the case. And so it's the epitome of hypocrisy to criticize us for us underachieving when the playing field was never even for us in the first place. So when you hear people say, oh, especially immigrants and things of this nature say,
oh, y'all black people, y'all so horrible. Look how you guys have been here for so long and you haven't done anything. You haven't done this, and we come over here and we have this and businesses and such and this and that.
It has a little bit of validity, but it's like they're excluding and negating the fact that the playing field was never equitable for us in the first place. And so when they say pull yourself up by your bootstraps and things of that nature, well, a large part of the time that we've been here in America, or our ancestors have been here in America, we didn't have any boots to pull up in the first place. Not only does any of or I can't say any, but the intellectuals that I see that's supposed to speak on behalf of us and supposed to be our quote unquote leaders, they don't ever touch on this. They don't ever point that out. Today, 2025, the playing field is still not even for us. The only thing about it now is that it's more covert than overt. And so the imbalance of the playing field is more difficult to actually recognize and understand than it once was. At one point in time, it was so overt, it was blatant in your face. Now, it's hidden. It's put into laws and things of that nature where most of us aren't privy to. We don't have an understanding about these intricacies and nuances of these laws that are detrimental or put us in a handicapped position where we start the game of life. And then the hypocrisy comes in where when we try to strive to thrive and we don't succeed, or we stumble and make countless mistakes and have countless failures, we get criticized, critiqued, stereotyped as if the playing field was even. We are viewed as losers as if the playing field was even. It's like we're running a 100-yard race, and pretty much everybody has 25 yards or 50 yards, depending on your quote unquote race. And then the starter pistol goes off and they winning and blowing us out. And they at the finish line drinking Gatorade and we barely getting there. And then they looking and laughing at us saying, oh, we're slow, we're this, we're that, we're not good. And what's wrong with us? We quote unquote are inferior. Where that's just a outright lie, because the playing field isn't equal. And so I just wanted to give, as I always do, give a different perspective, a different angle to understand things beyond what just may be obvious to you all, or what may be obvious and what is the narrative that everybody subscribes to. And like I've said before, and even if you haven't heard it, I'll reiterate it here. The only person that I'm in competition with is my past self. Iron sharpens iron. So I'm competing with the version of who I was 5 years, last year, 10 years, 20 years ago. But I'm not looking at my brother or my sister in our community and trying to compete or outdo them or her or him. I am bringing my unique and exquisite skills, talents, abilities, purpose to the playing field for the benefit of us all. And so when you see me, you can say, oh, look at Jay, he's a creative director. He's a master trainer, mastered in fitness, health, wellness, and personal development. He has those acumens that he can bring to us and also teach others as well who desire and aspire to be masters in those specific fields as well. The point, the piece of information needed to succeed of this video is collaboration over competition. Let's try to shift the paradigm of our mindset and elevate and evolve. Because as we knew at one point in time in the past, we really got. And until we recognize that and understand the playing field that we're on, we're going to continue to lose, holistically speaking. So just want to speak on that a moment, yo. Put some comments down, ask some questions, and let's continue to evolve. One love.
All eyes is on me. Won't tell no lies, won't hold my tongue.